And welcome to today's call. Um, Let me give you a little quick introduction of what we're going to talk about. We'll have three different topics, and I'm going to be your host. I'm Dan Collins. And what I'm going to do today, just so we can have different characters, is when I'm a user, I'm going to put on this red hat in case you see that. And when I'm a IT guy, I'm going to put on this brown hat. That way, it'll be easier to distinguish what's going on. So let's get started with Microsoft Teams is a game changer for collaboration. Everybody knows that. By integrating it into your intranet, we can have seamless communication, file sharing, and real-time collaboration. This integration helps us stay connected and work more efficiently, no matter where we are, right? Whether we're in a car or someplace else. Now, I am a user. I will get more value from the internet if MS Teams was everywhere. Right now, I have to switch applications between my intranet and my Teams application. I don't want to do that. Me as the IT guy, I want the application just to run. I don't want to, spend all my time continually configuring it, adding things and changing things. I want to configure it, hand it to the business people, set it and forget it. Jason, can you help me with the problem with MS Teams and integrating into intranets?
Absolutely, Dan. I'll be excited to take you through that. Also, kind of in the larger context of how we integrate anything and everything into the DX-based intranet. So thanks for the intro, and let's get started. Here we go. We got the next screen. Just a quick introduction. I am a technical advisor here at HCL. I work with our customers in North America on the latest innovations in DX and helping them get the most out of their software. So today I'm going to talk to you, I'm going to show an example of how Microsoft 365 using their Graph API can be integrated into a DX-based intranet. And this is really brought forth through the power of our Epic collection of integration connectors. This may be new to some of you. HCL has been, or DX has been doing integration for many years. I'm sure many of you that already have intranets based on DX, you're doing some sort of process today, some sort of transactional processes allowing your employees to open service tickets or view HR or ERP related transactional information on your websites. So you're probably saying, hey, I integrate stuff into my intranet all the time. I've been doing this for a long time. I'm very successful at it. What's new? So what's new with DX now is that we have the Foundry capability. And this is a component that's available to our DX customers that are on the user session licensing. And Foundry brings to the table a large set of pre-built backend adapters, connectors, the capabilities you see on the screen to help manage identity, such as you'll see in the demo today, how we have the out-of-the-box connector for Microsoft identity, and you'll see some other logos along the way as we go through this slide.
Jason, this Foundry thing, is that how do I get access to it?
Yeah,
freely available.
It's available if your licensing for DX has been converted into the user session package. And with that type of licensing, you'll be able to access the Foundry Docker containers and Kubernetes deployments that are on FlexNet, or if you've already switched over to the new licensing portal, you can get those there as well.
One more question about Microsoft Teams. Do I, as just a Teams user, do I have access to that, or does my company have access to that in general?
Yeah, so if you already have DX and you install a Foundry, you can use that with your existing Teams infrastructure, and connect that with Teams. If you are interested in kind of testing it and trying it out, one of the things we've been doing in our lab is that Teams has like a development system that you can provision. You can get developer accounts with Microsoft and do some testing and development there as well. Thanks, Dan. All right, so just even so, we've talked a little bit about identity and integration. So some of the other capabilities that Foundry brings to the table are, object services, managing data objects as they move through different backend workflows and approval processes, and from backend to various backend systems. The business rules help with workflow and automation of digital processes. And then there's a whole robust infrastructure around security and management of keys within your applications. And then finally, one of the screenshots you see here on the screen is the ability for Foundry to generate analytics and reporting based on the performance and success and usage of the APIs that go through the Foundry middleware. So one of the things that Foundry or one of the great values that Foundry brings to a DX-based intranet or any DX-based site is that our customers, generally have a lot of different supporting platforms to deliver a great customer experience or employee experience. And we have some sample logos on this screen. You may have marketing and analytics platforms that are supporting DX. Definitely, there's going to be various backends, various database services that are supporting transactions and processes that exist in the DX based site. But today they may likely be integrated into DX through many different ways. And there's no standard security interface. There's no standard type API connection to enable the success of those backend systems. And so Foundry can help to organize and centralize the data flow, the API management, and the security between DX and the various backend systems. And even if there's any transformation that's needed, say you might have a database or an API that's presenting information in perhaps an older XML-based API, and you may be using more modern front end, like perhaps you're developing a front end in DX that runs on React-based components. You can use Foundry to transform that XML payload into a nice modern JSON payload that can be consumed by your React front end. So there's a lot of opportunities here. We wanted to give you an introduction today to the capabilities of Foundry and how that can support DX. And certainly along the way, myself and Dan and Chirag and the rest of the team are really excited about helping our customers understand this new capability of the DX platform and helping you get the most out of it. So we look forward to having some more detailed conversations with you. So before I move into my demo of how Teams is supported by the Foundry integration, just another dive into what you get out of the box with Foundry. So we're gonna see the Microsoft Active Directory integration, but that also extends to Salesforce identities and Okta identities and a lot of the common identity platforms that are available in your enterprises. And then business adapters, Amazon, IBM, SAP, Red Hat. All of these capabilities are going to help you go faster. we found through our research that it covers 80% of the source code that you're going to need. So some of our customers may be still running very heavy applications that were written many years ago, and they like to modernize those into some lightweight front ends now. So Foundry gives you a place and a platform for you to move some of that heavier logic off the front end, and take advantage of these business adapters to reduce the amount of code you have to write to support the transactions on your website. So let's see. All right, let me switch over here and get out of the presentation for a minute and look at some demo. So here we are in our Woodburn intranet sample, our sample intranet that we have here at HCL. I'm logged in as Samantha. We can see here in her profile that she's a sales rep. And here in her homepage, she has a kind of a composition of data and content and processes that are important to her. So she's seeing a sales dashboard that is powered by Foundry and could be potentially, SAP data combined with a relational database, combined with API, REST API data, all coming into a single dashboard. She sees her personalized news from the Web Content Manager, which we all know and love. And she can set these personalization and persist her preferences across the different categories that are of content that are interesting to her. And then finally, she sees some apps that are important to her. And let me refresh my Teams here so I can ensure that my token is logged in. So you see there, the Microsoft integration did pop up for a brief moment, but since I'm already logged in, my token refreshed, and now I'm getting or Samantha is getting her content from Teams. Let's see, might have to refresh my token one more time here. So we're going to see from within Foundry, Foundry is now checking all of the teams that Samantha is a member of, and getting those messages from those teams. So now her activity stream has loaded. So she's getting a quick view in her activity feed. So she's a member of the sales team, or the sales operations team, the research and development team, the marketing hub. And so each of what the power of Foundry is that Foundry has just done a few things for us. It's established our identity and gotten the token from the Microsoft Active Directory. It has iterated through the teams that she belongs to, and then it's iterated through each of those teams to find the latest messages and organize an activity feed for her. Now, the way we have this set up today, it's just showing her all of the feed, all of the different messages that are in her teams. But we could intersperse with this the different, utilizing the different Graph API calls that are available. We could show updates to files or calendar updates, really Microsoft does a great job of exposing all the different bits and bytes around the person, the files, teams, SharePoint sites, and all of that can be exposed here as part of the activity stream. So it gives her a quick, fast look at what's new, what's happening. And then if she wanted to dive further into each of these messages, say if she wanted to reply to Todd, she can click on reply. And then my client sometimes gets a little confused between my my real work teams and then the my development teams here. So we'll close that production teams client down, and we get into the development one here in the browser, and we see that clicking on the reply, it takes her directly to that message within Teams, and she can begin to interact with it further and take more detailed actions within Teams. So let's take a look about how this works within Foundry, and we'll show the Foundry console here. I'm going to log into my my MX account. Here I'm using my my Foundry account that is available in our cloud. So if you want to get a Foundry account and you want to go out and do some trials, and you want to take, you might be interested in taking some of our courses that are on HCL Software U. You can do that, and you can work with the lab environment or demo environment with Foundry and learn more about it on our systems. So to support the process we just saw that Samantha went through, first there's an identity connector, which we've mentioned. So out of the box, we can establish, set up in Foundry through point and click. We can set up a Microsoft connection. Foundry automatically knows the types of configuration endpoint or configuration data that Microsoft identity token is going to need. So we can fill all of those things out. And it saves you having to write any code to establish the token in the browser, and you let Foundry handle all of that for you. Secondly, the integration calls. So if we look here, each one of these is a service that is connected to a Microsoft Graph API. And these services each individually perform a distinct task. So here's one where we're executing this service through REST API to get the joined teams. And we're taking some inputs and generating some outputs with that from that service. And then the way we generate the activity feed is in the orchestration here. We're able to take those individual services and connect those together. So if we come over here, we can look at the orchestration where we have these two services, the get join teams and the get teams channels. Those run sequentially and pass information between each other to generate that final output of the activity stream. So Foundry is handling that orchestration. There's no code needed to have these services interact with each other. So it takes some of the responsibility off the front-end developers to orchestrate and within their front-end code, multiple service calls. So this could be extended to multiple different systems. Say, for example, we're going to create an activity feed that's beyond Microsoft. So we're going to perhaps go to Salesforce or ServiceNow or existing homegrown applications and getting events from those. We could string together all of those service calls and generate that activity feed for the user, which is, and then the front end developer only has to call that one feed, and they don't have to worry about the inner workings of the service calls to create that activity feed. So I'm gonna wrap up my first section here and turn it over to Chirag in a moment. But we just wanted to, again, highlight here, we're delivering Foundry as a capability to our DX customers that are on the user session licensing. It's something you can download and take advantage of. We have the HCL Foundry or the VoltMX cloud, which you can go get a demo license or a demo account that's freely available. You can also take some labs and exercises through the HCL Software U. Thanks for the opportunity to tell you about it, and I'm going to stop sharing my screen here, Chirag, and turn it over to you.
Okay, great. Thank you, Jason. So you can see how valuable this can be, right? Internets are very transactional. We do not go into internets just to browse like we do with social media. We have activities to do. We have transactions to perform. We got to get things done. And sometimes we think of just internets being an intranet, the general internet, but there's also tools that people use. For example, let's think of a insurance agent, right? So they go into their app that's probably on their internet, only available to them, and they use it to create quotes, request underwriting, provide solutions to clients, right? So this is truly an internet application as well, and we need those type of tools that Jason was talking about. And so next thing we're going to talk about is notifications, because notifications is important to our job. So I'm going to put on my user hat while Chirag gets the screen ready to share. As a user, I need timely updates to stay on top of my tasks. HCL DX excels in sending me notifications and the right notifications at the right time. I'm in my car a lot, and I don't have time to browse and find things. I want them. I want that data there where I'm at, maybe on my phone. Whether it's an important notification of a policy change, project deadline, or company announcement or content, right? So all these types of notifications I need. So I want to be able to do this all with HCL DX. So we can get this as part of our daily workflow. Another thing, I want to be notified wherever I'm at, right? I mentioned that. So I'm in the car, I want it on my phone. If I'm on my computer, I want it in my internet application, in my browser, or, via email. So I'm going to put on my next hat of the IT guy, right? As the IT guy, I said before, and I'll say it again. I want to configure this. I want to get it working. I want to hand it to my business users and set it and forget it. So, Chirag, how can you help me with this?
So thanks, Jason. Thanks, Dan. I just want to introduce myself before we get started. I'm Chirag Rana, working as a technical advisor of HCL DX platform. Not long ago, I was also a customer of DX. The reason behind joining HCL Software for me was the passion towards this product, DX. As a customer, I have used it for almost 2 decades, this product, and now I want to contribute towards the product and help customers like you to make their digital transformation journey easier and fun. Today we will see how the workflow action feature of HCL DX, Web Content Management helps build an omni-channel notification capability, which is an important part of the digital transformation journey of an intranet application. One huge benefit of introducing notification to the digital workplace is to drive employee engagement. Notifying colleagues when content of or the information that is relevant to them is published, or even notifying when they have been mentioned in a real-time conversation can help them to engage with the organization and their colleagues. It also helps them to stay connected to the things they want from their digital workplace, so that it truly becomes the place they go to get everything they need. Now let's see the notification capability. I am here logged in as Todd, who is an employee, of an organization, and he wants to keep himself updated on any news articles related to HR and sales. So as you can see here, one sec. Yeah, as you can see here, these are my top news stories, and Todd has logged into the intranet application, and he is subscribed with the human resource and sales channel. Now, Sarah, who is a content creator, will create a content and publish it. As soon as the content is published, Todd will receive a notification on the intranet site. The notification will come here under the bell. The bell will turn red color, and the notification will show up. Like I have some past archived notification, it will be like something like this. So let's first, Sarah should create a content, and then we will see a notification over here. So I'm gonna go into the content composer logged in as Sarah. I have this content which I started creating. Measure and optimize is the title. One sec. So let's start creating. I'll put some image over here.
And we're getting that image from the digital asset manager, is that right?
Yes, this is the digital asset manager, and we are just uploading the image from there. So we do have this content ready, and I'm going to post it under the sales category. So I'm selecting the sales, and I will say 7 close. All right, so as you can see here, the measure and optimize is published. The article is published now. Now let's take a look what Todd sees. So as you can see here, real time, the bell turned red and the notification came. One notification is here. A news article has been published in one of the channels you follow. When you click here, it will open up the same content that we created. So this is how the omni-channel notification works with the help of workflow action. Now let's take a look how everything works together. So give me 1 second. Let's go back to the slide. All right, so here as you can see, there are two actors, group of users, right? The business users, which are content users, and the subscriber. Subscriber is nothing but employee who was Todd in our case. Todd initially went to and saved saved his preferences under HR and sales, and the preferences are saved in the user preferences. Now here is our notification service, as you can see here in the diagram, which relays the intranet web notification, which we just saw. It can be extended to mobile push notifications as well as to the email notifications. So Sarah, who was a content creator, came and created and published a content in the web content management, which was a content composer. As soon as the published action takes place, it triggers the notification workflow action. Now, this workflow action in turn calls the notification service, and the notification service gets the content details from the content management system, as you can see here, step 4.1, and at the same time, it also gets the list of users subscribed for the category of the newly created content. So in this case, Todd was subscribed for the category sales, and Sarah created the content in the sales channel. Now,
What is this notification service? What is it? So is it like a orchestration or something? What is it?
It's just a simple service which gets the details from the content and the list of users who are subscribed, right? And then it just relays the notification to the channels. So it's a very simple service, nothing much in there. It just gets the content details through our digital experience API for the Wickham, the content management API, REST API. So it makes a REST call here to get the content details, and it gets the list of users from here, and then it just relays the notification based on the details that it gets. So that's what the notification service is. But
Hey, Chirag.
yeah,
I think it might be interesting for the audience to know about, is the notification service like an example or an accelerator, or what would be kind of a way that we would help them to implement something like that?
Yeah, it could be the accelerator. So the notification service has the endpoint, right? Which is the notification endpoint. Now, it can be called from any other source. Basically, that endpoint can be called. So it is open, right? It is extendable, and it can be work. It can be done as an accelerator.
Yeah, so we're taking advantage. So out of the box, what are we taking advantage of out of the
So,
box to make
So
this
out
work?
of the
And
box,
then,
we are taking advantage of the workflow management of web content management system, right? The DX web content management system. We have under the workflow management, we have the workflow actions that are triggered on each of the workflow stages. Like if it is in a draft mode, the content can be in a draft mode. Then it comes into the publish mode, right? So as soon as the content changes its workflow stage from draft to publish, the trigger happens, and that trigger helps. So that those capabilities are out of the box. Now, if they were not out of the box, then it would have been so much coding that needs to be done behind the scene, right? In order to identify the uh, stage of the content as published, and then write your own workflow and all those things. So this is how DX web content management helps to
yeah, so
to
we're
achieve this capability.
helping with out of the box. It's very easy to plug in
Correct.
the notification service, and then for this particular example, right? I think this is we have an example of how to do the notification service on Node.js, right?
Yes, yes. I wrote it in we wrote it in Node.js basically.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I just wanted the audience to be aware of how
Mhm.
some of these out of the box capabilities enable us to extend
Yeah.
to some of the modern microservice architectures, and we can show and help and accelerate something like that for our customers.
Yep. This is totally on a microservice architecture, modern microservice architecture, and it can gel in with any mechanism, basically, that existing mechanism that customers have.
So there's a question in the chat. So notification service, is it a Foundry service?
It can be a Foundry service, but right now it just sits where DX sits on the cloud. But yes, it could be the Foundry service as well. That's not a problem.
Okay. So are you set? Sure.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think that is what I had. Over to you. Dan.
Great. Thank you, Chirag. That's great. I think that's an important part of the intranets, right? So let's talk about transactions again, right? So we talked about transactions before, and particularly we were talking about quick transactions. However, there's long transactions, right? We don't have everything doesn't happen in a click. We wish it would, but it doesn't. So sometimes you have to have several people involved. You need to have, a project, and then we know that HCL Connections has capabilities like projects, right? As the host, I can tell you that Connections is awesome. However, let's address the need for the teams that need to work together that don't have connections, right? So, as a user, I put my user hat back on. I work with multiple teams, and I work in different places. And sometimes it is a short-term project, sometimes a little bit longer. Email and team chats, just don't do it. I have projects to complete, and how can HCL DX Internet tools help me with this? And then my IT guy hat, I said it before, and I'll say it one last time. I want to configure it, set it, forget it. So how can you help me with transactions that, probably need a project or some type of more interaction? Jason, do you have some help for me?
I do. We have an exciting new capability for our clients to deploy on DX. So this is for any DX customer, no matter what type of DX license you have. You now have access to the project and task management feature, which is provided by our partners at Hutto Boards. This is an everyday task management platform for everyone. So it's designed for anybody, business user, admin, executive, project manager, whoever you are within your organization, to create a place to track tasks and design and execute projects. It's really robust. It has some great things in it to do, highly complex projects that include task dependencies, as well as some workflow capabilities. And it's extremely collaborative and integration friendly. HCL is shipping the Docker containers. You can get support from HCL support to download and install and configure this new capability. The security is integrated with DX via OAuth. So when you install the Hutto boards, you don't have to set up an additional repository for a security repository. It integrates directly within DX. It'll pull the pictures and email addresses and all of the contact information from the DX repository, and it's very easy architecturally to get configured with DX. I did mention that you can get support from our HCL DX support team on this. So if you look in the Help Center and you search for Hutto boards, you'll find information there about downloading and installing and configuring this new capability of DX. So Dan, let me take you now through a demo and show you what it looks like.
Great, this sounds very cool. So
let's get out of here. And we'll come back over to Samantha's homepage. Hutto Boards has a really great and comprehensive API. So we can see here on Samantha's homepage, she can see the number of tasks she has open. So we're dynamically pulling back from her boards the number of open items, the number of things that she needs to look at that day, and displaying them here on her homepage. And then she can dive a little bit deeper and come into the boards application. What you can see here is available and integrated into the same website. So she's not losing any context. She's not going out to some other platform. She didn't have to log in again. It's all right here and easily accessible for her. So we can see she has a few boards that she's a member of. We see some, they may have, indicated here that some activities are completed. We see that some activities are overdue and a total number of activities to complete that project. We see her picture for the social interactions. You'll see pictures of all of her coworkers as we move through this process. And as we can see, some of the related different views that are available for the boards. And we're defaulting to her list of boards, but she can see public, completed, and archive boards as well. So let's jump into the creation process for her. So say she has a new customer conference to prepare. So let's say we're getting started early here, and she's going to set up the spring conference. So the first thing she wants to do is select her template, which is she's going to pick from the conference planning template. So there are some standard templates that come out of the box, but more than likely, as you use the product, organizationally, you will create some best practices and templates based upon your business processes, which can be saved and then reused by everyone across your enterprise. So let's pick the conference planning. She can select her starting view, whether it's a board or an activity or a mind map or a timeline. Let's just stick with board for the time being. And we're going to go on to next here. And then she's going to add some people to work with her on this project. So again, let's pick Lucy and see Lucy's information comes right in from the DX repository. We can make her a owner, editor, author. So let's just make her an editor. And then we'll also have Felix come join us on this project. And Felix is also an editor. So now we have a couple of team members. And then this template has some roles that have been defined for it. So we're going to put Lucy in the event manager slot, and Felix in marketing, and then also Sam within event management. So let's hit save and see what gets set up for us. Okay, so the board is now created based off the template. We have a set of categories or sections that apply to the setting up a successful event. We can see visually who has been automatically assigned to each of the to-dos. So we see Lucy in a lot of places, and Felix have been assigned to their different tasks. So let's click into one of these tasks and take a look at what we can do with it. So here we are within the organized members. And so Lucy can, she could add some text here. Maybe we'll do like a hello world kind of thing. She could do, and then let's pick a date. Let's say, okay, she's going to make some people work on the Thanksgiving holiday week. So she sets some start and end dates. She could add some additional people here. So let's say if we wanted to pick some, say that Sam's going to be part of this, and then she can define, who needs to complete each of the tasks. And then there's some content actions she could take along the right-hand side. So if she wants to upload a file or set some bookmarks along with this tasks, she could set up dependencies. We can move this to a different section. And then additionally, she could do, if she wanted to start color coding the different tasks so they're very easy visually for all the team members to understand which task applies to which kind of category, she can do that through this colors experience here. So now she's set up here. We see that she's added some colors to this task to indicate maybe status or the category that they belong to. She's added Samantha and she's set a due date. So she could also, if she wanted to, visually move this around to different sections, that's possible as well. So that gives you kind of an intro on how to use this board. So obviously Samantha may spend a lot more time in here customizing this for her need and assigning tasks. But just out of the box real quickly, she's got a project plan started up. She's got some members assigned to the different tasks, and she's ready to begin her work. So this board does, like, globally has some options here. She can view things in the mind map type of view. She can view things as a timeline. We see here these tasks, once they have a date, they show up here in the timeline view. So she may have several other cards that she wants to add. So let's say if she wants to do add the determined roles, she can drag and drop that onto there. And then she could also view this as an activity, which is maybe familiar to those of you that are HCL Connections users. So lots of great options here to manage projects, perhaps onboard new employees, and make sure repeatable tasks are successful in the organization. And again, if you remember how we got to this, or jumped into Samantha's board in the first place, there's a great API around this data So if you want to create dashboards around tasks or expose some information from each board in a micro app on a user's homepage or so forth, you can do that as well with the API. So this is available today. If you're interested in trying it out, check it out in the Help Center. And we hope you have a great experience. And if you run into any difficulties, you can call our support team and they'll help you out.
There's a lot of
Great.
functionality in here, Jason. I mean,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
Looks great.
All right. So yeah, I'll turn it back over to you to wrap us up, Dan.
Okay, so today we reviewed 3 different innovations that we've done for the internet, right? All very important. So the integration with MS Teams, what type of technology did we expose during that discussion, Jason?
Right. Yeah, that was the new Foundry integration capability.
In the Microsoft Teams. And so the second piece that we did was Chirag talked about the notifications and what type of innovation, what type of technologies did we use with the notifications?
So we use the DX Web Content Management workflow system, and how the out of the box features of the workflow management system can gel with any REST API to or any other mechanism to relay the notification to the desired channels.
Great, thanks. And Jason, one last question. So these huddle boards, what did we, well, I guess the question is, how can I access that? Is that something that is in the SoFi, or is it going to be there?
Yeah, that's a good point, Dan. I think I might have missed something there, but as part of the configuration that's documented in the Help Center, you'll create a free account with Hutto, and you can take a test drive in their cloud for free, or you can download the containers and install them in your own infrastructure.
There are some questions actually in the chat.
Yes. So, can the tasks follow? Jason, that seems to be the question with the
Huddle
huddle boards, with the tasks. Is it following the person? I'm not sure, Magna.
No, I think I get what
Okay.
I certainly understand the question. I think that might require some additional kind of follow-up on the notification possibilities. So I think certainly on the dashboard of the board of your board, you can understand which tasks have been completed and changed. But we'll follow up on that for you.
Okay, great. And that, I think that answered the second question too, right? All right. So thank you today for joining. I just want to ask everyone if they have some feedback, because we thought this was a fun way to talk about these topics. And if this is something that you like, this type of a format, just let us know. And
Hey Dan, I just checked, and you can follow task and be assigned by notification, or even a team, or be emailed notifications. And there's even an option to have a team spot that has notifications about how tasks are changing. So lots of opportunities to stay connected with your tasks and the boards.
great, thank you. All right, so we'll wrap it up. Thank you for the call today, and thank you for joining. We'll see you the next time, probably in January.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us, Dan.